World events, the housing market, and government spending has led to soaring inflations. Now, the Federal Reserve has one tool in its arsenal to curb and reduce this trend, and that is rising the interest rates. Now, while contemporary home buyers are accustomed to interest rates in the 2 and 4%, more senior homeowners remember being excited to get one of the low rates like 8% back in those times. So it's not something that people may not be accustomed to. Now, we have no indication such a drastic increase is necessary. However, home mortgage interest rates are increasing, they're creeping up, and potential home buyers may be asking themselves, should I still be interested in buying a home? And that is what we're going to talk about right after this. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ranice Jackson with Residential Matchmakers. Today, we are talking about should I still or should you still be interested in purchasing a home in this time where inflation is rising and the mortgage rates are going through the roof? Last week, we spoke about mortgage buy down. So, we're still kind of talking about that trend of inflation and the rise. So, one of the first things to consider is affordability. When you're considering whether you should buy a house or not, you should definitely be considering affordability. A higher interest rate will impact the amount of the loan in each buyer can qualify for. So if the mortgage interest rates are high, that's definitely going to impact the loan each buyer can qualify for, potentially reducing their spending power. And that is what it's all about. If you don't have good spending power, you may not be able to afford the house you want. Yet, home prices are also being starting to soften. So it may not be, though your purchasing power might not be so high, the housing market is starting to soften just a bit. We're starting to see homes not flying off the market. They're sitting a little bit, and there have been a little reduction in prices. So it's possible that a correction will reduce and possibly impact those rising interest rates. So though we're seeing the interest rates rising, there's a chance that because the market is softening a bit, you never know. Interest rates may also get impacted by that. Okay. Secondly, home ownership has been a strong hedge against inflation historically. Buying a home locks in the cost of the largest budgetary portion of your expenses, your housing costs. Yes, I said it. Once you buy a house, that definitely locks in the amount that you're going to be paying, unlike when you're renting. That can go up considerably, right? So it helps you lock in and helps you really control your budget. As the cost of living continues to increase, especially rent also is rising. We just spoke about that. It's definitely rising, and you have to worry if you're going to get a rent increase this year and next year and the year after, continuing to add pressure to you and on already stressed household budget. So that rise in rent can definitely put an additional stress on you and your budget as a household. Okay. Now, finally, things change. All right. Things definitely change. We live in a world that things are always changing, and recession is no different. The recession do not last. We've had recessions in the past and they've gone away, and we've had better times. So recessions do not last. Home prices eventually sometimes rise and sometimes fall. Home mortgages can also be refinanced. So you may get a high interest rate now, but in several in a couple months or several years, you never know what is going to happen. You may be able to refinance that mortgage to a lower interest rate if interest rates do go down. Most homeowners also move every 5 to 7 years. And so potential home buyers should plan for this time frame when making their decision. So it's possible in the next 5 to 7 years, you may not even be living in that home. They call it your first home sometimes. If you're a first time home buyer, sometimes you buy your starter home and then you move up to your next home. And then some people buy their forever home. So it's not necessary that you may be in that same property in the next couple years. All right, because you just want to budget or balance off your budgetary expenses for your living expenses or your household. Okay, so is this still the right time to buy a house? Inflation does have an effect, it sure does, but it does not necessarily mean that one needs to hold off on a good home purchase if one is presented to them. So, should you hold off? It's up to you. But if a great opportunity is presented to you and you can afford it, make sure that you are controlling your living expenses by controlling the most expensive budgetary portion of your expenses, and that is your housing costs. Now, I am Bernice Jackson with Residential Matchmakers. If you have any questions that you would like us to discuss on Ask Me Monday, please feel free to reach out to us at resmatchmakers@gmail.com, and we will be more than happy to answer your questions. You can also call or text us at 407 286 1698. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions. You can also follow us on Instagram at Residential Matchmakers, on Facebook, again, Residential Matchmakers. Our website is My Residential Matchmakers. And of course, on YouTube. Subscribe. If you like this video and you want to hear more content, definitely tap the like and the subscribe so that you can hear more content about your real estate needs. Every Monday, this is Bernice Jackson with Ask Me Mondays. Talk to you soon. Have a great week. Bye-bye.